can't see the, I'm gonna buy me a clock this big.
Don't worry about no clock.
Well, I don't want it, it's, you know.
Shannon, there's one right there.
Oh,
Can you see that? Can you see?
I didn't, wow, okay. I didn't see that one right there.
We had to pass to put that one up while everybody up in front.
We got one wall about that big.
Then.
We got to put that somewhere.
All right, you know, all right.
Got
I
numbers
do
like
see it.
that.
Okay, y'all don't have to stand, but are you in the purple book, 177? Y'all know which one I mean.
Burgundy book.
One I grew up on.
177.
Uh-huh. We'll do 1, 2, and 4. That'll be enough. Some of these hymns have 1,000 verses. Have you been to Jesus for the cleansing power? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you fully trusting in His grace this hour? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you walking daily by the Savior's side? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Do you rest each moment in the crucified? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Yes. Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? 4. Lay aside the garments that are stained with sin, and be washed in the blood of the Lamb. There's a fountain flowing for the soul unclean. Be washed in the blood of the Lamb. Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb?
Praise the Lord.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Wait, wait.
We have to sing happy birthday to my husband.
It's all spent
I
for
almost forgot. It was Monday, but I almost forgot. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks.
I almost forgot it.
Yep.
Many more.
Amen.
60s club.
Come on, man.
Jesus. Did he go there?
Oh, don't push it that far yet.
Wait till you get the Haitians.
Yeah, we're really treading and stuff, but we appreciate being able to come tonight, being able to be here and stuff, being able to bring music and worship, you know, because that's what it's about, a heart of worship. God,
Amen.
those with a heart of worship, worshiping Him, giving Him the glory. It's about Him. It's not about me, about our the church. It's about Him. You know, He loves the church and stuff, and He wants us to, you know, recognize the church and all that it's doing and stuff, and it's going to do, you know, but that's through Him. And that's how I started thinking about that today and stuff, and this message, I titled it, here what I titled it, it kind of goes along with the little nursery rhyme about Little Red Riding Hood, kind of. You know, how she went through them woods, and she didn't have no fear when she was going through the woods. You know, you don't ever see it. She only feared it, you know, once she got there and she seen how big Grandma's teeth was, and how big Grandma's eyes was. She started thinking about it then. Yeah, but anyway, traveling merrily on a path of righteousness. You know,
Amen.
you know, because that's what God wants us. He's trying to keep us in a path of righteousness. Because He
Amen.
had a plan and purpose for us before the foundation of the world. You know, there was a discussion in heaven, and He said He'd come and redeem man back to God. And so they had a plan, and so in that plan, you know, that was about us. You know, restoring us to God. Because, you know, we stepped away from God. God didn't step away from us. God never left us, and it said He never will forsake us.
That's right.
And we're the ones walked away from God. And now God is in the restoration business with the Spirit of God bringing man back unto Him, reconciling man back unto Him.
Come on, brother.
Can y'all hear me with am I good? And stuff. Like I said, we go to Psalms 23. A lot of people just know that by heart.
I'll give you that right from here.
And stuff, because it starts off with that. It says that the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and He leadeth me beside the still waters that leadeth. And He restoreth my soul, and He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. In the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me, Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And I just like to back up like that, like I was saying about verse 3, how He said that He's restored my soul, and He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. When we start leading ourselves, that's when we get in so much trouble.
Come on.
Yeah.
Amen.
You know, we start leaning on that little pea brain thing with that little. Some people might take that offense, but it's, you know, when you think of God, the magnitude of God thinking for us, and when we're thinking things, it says why we shouldn't lean on our own understanding, but lean on His.
Amen.
You know? And when we do, we find there's lots of bumps and little things in the road that try to move us back to where God needs us to be.
Amen.
That's what it's all about, getting back
Come
to God, the
Praise
way
the Lord.
God's trying to lead us. Not how we're trying to lead us, or how we think about listening to wrong doctrine, how we ought to be led. The church, there's a religious factor out there that's trying to lead people in the wrong direction.
Amen.
It's they try to call it extreme, but it's too extreme. And stuff. It says, for the first point, I would like to say, when led by God in faith of warriors, discipled a heart, word, and truth, and the road leads to Jesus Christ in the path of love. Because God wants faith warriors. We have to be faith warriors, not just, it's going to be a battle.
Amen.
They just want to people want to get saved and get the rose garden. It don't go that way.
Come on.
And if you ever get in a rose garden, there's lots of thorns. Yeah, it's a beautiful smell, but there's thorns in there. You know, when I was working for Cypress Gardens down there in Florida, you know, we had to go in there and trim them and prune them roses and stuff, and it's a lot of work. You know, if you do the gardening, you know that as well. You know, and stuff when you have, it's beautiful. You know, I got a big old rose bush right beside our house and stuff. But them thorns, when you try to get up under and clean them grass and stuff, and the weeds that try to grow right up in there and choke that thing. And so you got to get in there and clean it and prune it. Because if you don't, you know, it'll just get wild and grow all kinds of ways. And you know, and that's how we are sometimes. We get on certain paths, you know, we just get all wild. You know, and stuff. And then God says, well, you know, if you increase that prayer like that, you know, some of them thorns won't bother you as bad. You get out there on them knees and pray a little bit, you know, you won't have, those troubles won't seem so big.
Come on, brother.
You know,
Amen.
He has to get us back on that path. That path of
Amen.
righteousness is right, standing in right standings with Him, and not with man. It says, you know, we're not here to please man. We're here to please God.
Amen.
We're
Praise
here
the
to
Lord.
made for God's pleasure.
Amen.
You know, people forget that part, you know, and stuff. And over in Matthew's, the 10th chapter, if you want to flip over to there and stuff, the 10th chapter, and starting at verse 5, it says, what he's talking about is, it gave all the names within the first part of this chapter. It gives all the names of the disciples, the 12, because these were the inner circle that was close to Christ, and you know, and he picked them, hand-picked them and stuff, and discipled them so that they go out and disciple others, which is what God has purposed us for, is to disciple others, and to be able to. That's the way the church will grow, is to be able to disciple the right ones that will bring certain things into the church to help the church grow. That's what it's about. That's why you have discipleship within the church. And it says, these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans, but enter ye not. Because see, at that time it wasn't for the Gentiles; it was for the Jews. But it said, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which was the Jews at the time. And it says, as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor scrips for your journey. In other words, don't take nothing. Because what you have, what you're going to use is the word. You don't need to be have a three-piece suit to go preach the word. You know, or a brand new Cadillac. That's how it used to be. Did you see a pastor, a minister? He had a brand new Cadillac and be sporting a three-piece suit and you know and stuff. But you know, it's about having a heart for God and having
Amen.
a heart for of love and compassion for those that have less and stuff. And it says, neither 2 coats, and neither, you know, he goes through all these things that what they shouldn't take, and then it says in 11, and to wherever city or town ye shall enter, inquire of whom it is worthy, and there abide until ye go thence. And when ye come into a house, salute it. In other words, honor that house. In other words, when you go in somewhere, because you bring God with you. When you go somewhere, you carry God with you. So you want to, and if you're going to share God, you should honor God, honor that house and stuff. And says, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it, and be it, if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the council, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. In other words, in the church. You know, you go into church saying, some churches saying the wrong things, they'll run you out. Yeah, they're stuck on certain traditions and certain doctrines, and then that's how that. You go say, some of them you can't even preach Jesus. That's
Come on.
bad. Some churches, they don't want to hear Jesus. You know, they teach, you know, God or Jehovah, but they don't say, you say Jesus and they'll run you out. You know, or if you start shouting, they'll run you out. Or if you lift a hand, they'll run you out. You know, they think you're a threat. And that's what he's telling them, you know, just, you know, but it says, but verse 19 says, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye should say. Because if we go out here and be a mouthpiece, a mouthpiece for God, get that out. But you know, a mouthpiece for God and saying what God wants us to say instead of just off the top of our head, which if we don't get in this word, we don't know what to say. And if we don't have this a base of words or a foundation of God's word in our heart and in our mind and in our spirit, you know, we're going to be lost.
Amen.
You're not going to be much use to God when He can't use you. You know. So that's why we have to keep, like I say, stay in the word, stay prayed up, and stay ready. You know, like a watchman, always waiting and ready. And it says, verse 28, for it is not ye that speaks, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. And 21, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. In other words, not being godly. A home that's not godly. Those things, those seeds come out of that kind of home. You know, when there's a godly home, God, you plant those seeds, and it says that they will not forget, and they'll come. They'll bring back God, bring that remembrance back to them. When I remember when I was a child, you know, my grandmother's house, you know, we'd sit around and read the Bible. We might watch TV to 8, and then we'd read the Bible to 9. You know, you know, you could stay up late if you stay up and read the Bible. Yeah, but it was a seed being planted is what my point is, you know.
Amen.
You know, and that's what we still have to do that in our home today. We have to encourage each other, you know, and raise up the children knowing that like he sees me doing this, or you know, sees when you're out in the world talking to others and witnessing and being that light that says it shines in a darkened world, being the salt of the earth and stuff. Those things that God says is what we are to Him. And verse 22 says, and ye shall be hated of all men, but for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. And just like it said, and you know, so point 2 says, the more good we can see through the Spirit of God, the easier the leading and the better the journey. Because we're on a journey. We're all journeymen trying to, you know, there's things going to happen. It said, you know, we're not exempt from things happening to us, or you know, or things in the world coming against us, or people in the world coming against us. Your own family.
That's right.
Your family will turn against you.
Amen.
You know, when you get saved, things change. People's ideals about you change. You know, I can't believe he's like that. You know, he was a bad little boy when he was young. I can't believe he's a Christian. How can he be a Christian? He used to steal the watermelons out of people's fields and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you better not lay nothing down around him. You know, that was the old man. The new man, you can put it right there. I don't need it. You know, and stuff, and you know, but that's how, you know, that's how the carnal man thinks. You know, they don't think with their spirit and discern things with their spirit. If they have the Spirit of God on them, they'll see the light in you. We see light in each other. We're all in here, but we see the light in each other. Once these things here open up, we'll know if that light is real. That's what happens when this little flapper here just opens up. That's what tells the whole truth. That's when the real word and the real truth comes forth. It's when we open that little flapper. And it says, point 3 says, fear only hinders our arrival time of where God is trying to bring us to this perfect plan for our lives. You know, because the devil, that's what his main tool is. He'll try to, try to get you scared and frightened of just your everyday living. You better, I don't know what you're going to do to get these bills paid. Well, I'm not leaning on you for sure. I'm leaning on God.
Amen.
Because God says He'll make a way when there seems to be no way.
Come on.
Yeah, and he said, I made you the head, not the tail. Above and not beneath. So you go to the Word and then bring that Word up, bring that Word to manifestation. You got to have the faith. He says, and then give you that. He gives us the faith. He gives us faith, and it says in Romans, just a measure of faith, but there also in the Gospels it talks about the mustard seed faith. You have to have that mustard seed faith. Just a little teeny bit. That's how great God is. He can take just a teeny bit of faith and change the whole universe. Change your whole world. That's what's changed our world, is our faith when we started believing that He was, and He is, and He will be, and He's to come, and to gather us unto Him, and we will be with Him. And that's the whole substance in that. It says, when Christ said it was finished on the cross, He cleared the path of righteousness with His blood and His love. Man, that's powerful right there. Because if you go to John 19:30, it tells where He said it. They stuck that vinegar to His lips, and He says, it's finished.
That's right.
It's finished. So nobody can win your salvation. It's all been paid for.
Amen.
The price is paid, like the pretty songs all say. The price has been paid. We don't have to pay no price. It's just believing. Loving Him, making time for Him, and the more time you make for Him, the more you love Him.
Amen.
You'll find that out.
Amen.
That's the same way with your mate or your friends. The more time you make, you'll love them. If they're on that same path that you're on, that path of righteousness. That's what it's about tonight. That path of righteousness. It says, point 5, when we are wearing His whole armor, walking in His righteousness, the path becomes super highways. Because it said you got to get equipped when you get up and start. You got to start praying and get that whole armor of God on you, and because you asking, if you ain't asking for the battle, you're gonna get it anyway. It says He anoints your head with oil. When you're anointed, that's the ones He's after. He's after the generals and the colonels and the majors. He ain't the little fellas. He's not after them as much. If you're a strong general in faith or the Word, he's gonna be more after you than anyone. But you can say, if He be for me, God be for me, what can be against me?
Amen.
Or who can be against me? You just got to be bold, because that's how he was trying to get them to be bold in the Spirit and bold in their and what they've been learned by Him. And when they go out and go into these different cities, they were going to encounter just all kinds of persecution, and stuff. We don't, as Americans, we really don't, like we were just talking about these people over this sea, we don't have the persecution that some of these other countries have. It's coming to this country, but it's not coming yet. There's been many people prophesied it, but it's not. We're not in a tribulation, not like some countries. Where they go all month for a loaf of bread. They work all month for a loaf of bread. You can run down any time and go get a loaf of bread.
That's right.
These people, that's persecution and tribulation there and stuff. And point 6 says, the Lord sends His angels out before us, shouting, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make His path straight. Because that's how John the Baptist came before Jesus, and he was telling them, there's one that's coming. He said, because they almost started worshiping John. They started worshiping John. They thought he was the Messiah, and said that He told them, no, I'm not even worthy to lash His sandals.
Amen.
There was one that's to come that was going to bring man back to a relationship with God. And that was God, and then God would restore man where he need to be, and get him back on those right paths, that path where he needs to be, and where he needs, and that way he needs to walk, and stuff. And point 7, and to clear it up, close it with this. It says, when we are rooted in His Word, seeking Him daily, going through doors He opens, we will then be traveling merrily down that path He planned and purposed for our lives. And that's what it's about, getting on track and getting on that right path, that
Amen.
path of righteousness.
Amen.
In other words, because he said, yoke with me. In other words, he would be like the little thing about footsteps in the sand where he's actually carrying you.
Come
You know,
on.
you know,
Amen.
He says, bond with him. That's what Paul even said. He said, I'm a bond servant with Christ. Because he was being persecuted and thrown in prisons and tortured and beaten and all that. But yet he says, even though all these things, he says, he loved him until he died. Because he looked beyond those things. And that's how we do to stay on that right path. We got to look to the destination, and the destination is with him.
Amen.
In heaven, and with the loved ones, like the song she said about being with the loved ones that's gone on, that's already with him. They've already done their journey. They've already been there, those paths that led to him. And that's what it's about tonight, being led to him. And that's what I got for the sermon. I got you a little joke here and stuff. Gotta have something here and stuff, but I appreciate you letting me bring that word, and God giving us that word and stuff. But this here little joke says a man walks out of his front porch one day and he sees a gorilla in the tree on his front lawn. He calls animal control, and about an hour later, a man shows up with a ladder, a pit bull, and a shotgun. The animal control employee tells the man, I'm here to get the gorilla out of your tree. I'm going to use the ladder to climb up the tree and shake the branch the gorilla is on to knock him to the ground. The pit bull is trained to go after anything that falls from the tree and bite their throats, which calms the animal down so I can put it in the truck. The man says, okay, I see what the ladder and the pit bull are for, but what is the shotgun for? The animal control employee says, oh, that's for you in case I fall out of the tree instead of the gorilla. Shoot the dog. I think he might have did some mean things to that dog.
You make sure you shoot that dog. Don't worry about that gorilla.
Get deal with that gorilla. And stuff. But like I say, we appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all too, brother.
And bring the word, and like I said, it's just about His righteousness. It's us being in His righteousness, because Him being in us, we stand righteous.
Amen.
When we forget those things or allow those things, to fade in our memory, and about how He's brought us away out of those things, and He's brought us in reconciliation with God and stuff. I'd like for you, John, to pray for me and my wife tonight and stuff. Y'all knowing us and pray for us. So we got a few things we got going on that we need the house to pray for us, the church.